It's a flag play. The Cubs win the World Series. 10-5 touchdown. Kansas City. Damian Williams runs to immortality and will be remembered forever in the Chiefs' kingdom.
Welcome in to the Brawl Network podcast. Here's your host.
And welcome everybody to a live Friday edition of the Brawl Network podcast. It is me, your producer, Jay Andrews. You can hit me up on Twitter at UPJ33. And as always on Friday night, we have Kyle Henning. Hit him up on Twitter at KThen19. How's it going tonight, Kyle?
Going really well. Got a special guest for everybody this evening, so I'm excited.
Well, why don't you introduce this very special guest? And by the way, if you're wondering where Micah is on the radio calling high school football. So, we got to give him his props. So props to Micah, and you can follow Micah on the Twitter at Micah_right NFL. I had to remember that he went to NFL. It took me a second because we don't want to just.
He changed it. I know. It threw me off.
I had to do it. So.
All right. Well,
go ahead and get our guest in there.
I would like to give a welcome to Sabrian Pfeifer, who is from my home city of Wichita. We're going to talk a little bit this evening about something going on really important in our community and in the hockey world on a whole. So we're going to get into that, and I'd like to say welcome to Sabrina. Sabrina, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So let's do this. We'll get pretty much right into it. What exactly is going on, and what are we doing? What's going on with the hockey community in Wichita?
So it's so amazing. So Wichita Ice Center was named on August 16th the top 4 finalists in the annual Kraft Hockeyville contest, which is put on by the NHL, NHLPA, and Kraft Foods. It's a contest that they do every year, and it's open to every single rink to nominate your rink for this contest.
And so you went ahead and started the nomination process. I know there were some steps in that, and you had to get the community to get involved in that part. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So our hockey community is so passionate, and really the steps it took to getting nominated, and what happens is over a 2-month period, your hockey community earns points by submitting pictures, stories, videos, and notes, just really explaining why your hockey community is so passionate.
And so when they did all that, they've spent those 2 months. The whole community got involved, and I know because I'm a part of that community. I've been there for basically since those doors opened, so I know I'm familiar with everything going on around there. So when they did all that, they were part of the last 4. I'm guessing in the point totals there for the finalists. That's how that all transferred out. What are we competing for?
So we're competing for a grand prize of $150,000 in rink upgrades, plus the opportunity to host an NHL game at our facility. And that part is that as much as the rink upgrades are awesome, and the $150,000 is as a grand prize is cool. Talk a little bit about what that preseason game at the rink would mean for hockey in the city and growing the game in the area. Oh, it would be amazing. I mean, we have, about 500 people in our leagues between the youth and the adult leagues. And even though it's a small number, we're super passionate about, our community, about it really becomes a second family. And it would be amazing just kind of really, when you think about Wichita, Kansas and hockey's not the first thing you think about. And just really helping, grow the leagues, especially for the kids. Just kind of putting us on the map and really getting more kids interested in playing hockey because it's such a great sport.
Absolutely. And you talked a little bit about the Wichita's not exactly notorious for their hockey market. As somebody who played on a team that traveled from Wichita a lot of places, you heard a lot. You guys are from where? Where do you play hockey? You're Kansas? So there's a little bit about that. But so the community there, and if you guys follow me on Twitter at all, anybody that follows me on Twitter, you've seen me tweet out, hockey's different, it's a family. And a lot of that is because of that rink. I spent a lot of time there. I grew up a lot there. I wouldn't be anywhere close to the person I am today without being around that place. So it holds a special place for me for sure, but I know it holds a special place for you as well. Just the stuff it took to get here and everything. So I want to say thank you on behalf of everybody from Wichita that does that. So what's the next step? What's the next step for how do we win the grand prize? How does Wichita do what they need to do?
So Wichita Ice Center has been we are a top 4 finalists, and we're up against 3 other pretty strong competitors here. And what happens and how how it gets broken out and who places where, it goes to a nationwide vote.
And I'm looking at the website right now. It looks like I see a countdown clock saying voting opens in about 10 hours.
That's about right. So it's going to open up. So voting starts tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time, and it goes for 28 hours. It is unlimited vote. It's a nationwide vote. You have to try to earn as many votes as possible.
So you can just get on any device and vote at the website?
That's absolutely true, yes.
And what's the website?
KraftHockeyville.com. You're going to look for the Wichita Ice Center and cast your vote.
All right. So with that said, I know you said it's 28 hours. It starts at 6 a.m., so that means it runs basically 6 a.m. Saturday to
10 a.m. Sunday morning.
10 a.m. Sunday morning. Thanks for doing math because my brain doesn't work sometimes. It's okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing the message. And when you compare this rink and compare everything to all the other ones that are available, I know all the other rinks are great, but why Wichita?
Gosh, I mean, again, I think anybody you talk to here, like you said, I mean, the people that you meet here, it just becomes like a second family. We've had people that aren't from Wichita that stop here and they stay here. They continue to live here. We've got some pro athletes with our pro team that stay here because they love our community. They love, again, it's like a second family. There's lots of charitable actions that we do within our community that help just benefit the people within our community to make it a better place.
Absolutely. And there is an ECHL team and there is a juniors program in the city of Wichita as well. So this would be big for the hockey market on the whole to grow the game in that area, especially in the Midwest where it's not exactly got the foothold that it may have on the East Coast. So thank you again for coming on this evening. I appreciate you giving us some time and sharing Wichita and the story. And thank you for nominating the rink and doing all the heavy lifting and legwork and getting everybody to get out and do stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good night.
You too.
So, Jay.
What's up, man?
What'd you think, man?
Dude, you gotta go to the website.
I can't hear you, my friend.
There, I'll turn my mic on for you. The guys on the other end. See, I got 2 mics, so I turned it down so you could.
I know. That's why I was like,
it was a very important moment. I didn't want to interrupt her or have her any. You got to go to the website, is what I was saying.
Yep.
You got to go there. You got to vote. You got to vote for Wichita. It's a great little place. It's a great story. So if you like great places, you like to support, things off the grid, and want to help a community do something really cool that'll mean something. Go to the website that she said and vote Wichita, man. That's all you got to do. It's easy. It'll take you like 35 seconds.
And if you want, you can vote as many times as you want. So if you got some time to kill, sit there 5-10 minutes and hit the vote button over and over again. It won't take any time. And I will be putting out a link for that on my Twitter and my Facebook and anywhere else you need to find me if you need to link to that. Otherwise, it is KraftHockeyville.com. Go check that out. Tomorrow morning it starts at 6 a.m. Central, 7 Eastern. I don't really expect anybody out west to get up at 4 and start voting, but if you do, that would be really nice. I appreciate it. But right now we can transition into some of the topics of the day, and we'll get into some easy stuff. But I want to get right into somebody's fantasy football draft we did on this podcast, and out of this group of podcasts. So Jay, I heard you already do a little bit of defending of your fantasy draft strategy, and I just wanted to chat a little bit more about how that went for everybody and whatever. But what? I know you're doing a draft right now, so.
It's not letting me pick, and I got 20 seconds left, dude. This is stupid.
Well, that's not good. Throw somebody in the queue then, and let it auto-pick the queue guy. But, well, since you're currently battling technical issues, we will transition instead to the hockey topics.
Look. I don't know. I'm going to get Michael Thomas, I have a feeling, anyway, with the 5th pick.
I mean, it's okay. That won't hurt you.
I got Michael Thomas. Okay.
Restart your app before you get to your next pick.
It's the ESPN app, and I don't like it very much. It got a catch button, but it doesn't. Now it's telling me I can draft players.
That's why we used Sleeper on ours, man. I wasn't gonna mess with battling ESPN. Sometimes it's nice, but sometimes it's a pain. So on our Brawl redraft league, in our league, and the network pod that everybody's on, all the hosts are on, and everybody's a part of, we did our draft last weekend, and everybody's kind of reviewed their teams. Jay did an interesting draft strategy. I thought I liked it. It was definitely different. The double tight end strat.
Yeah, I got Michael Thomas with the 5th overall pick, which I just got him again. It wasn't me that was up. It was telling me I was up, but it was actually the player before me. So
well, that's
I was just
good.
Panicking for no reason. So,
hey, I mean, there you go.
Okay, so I got Michael Thomas again with the 5th pick in this draft too. But then when it came back around, the other running backs I wanted to get in the 2nd round and the other receivers kind of had went because of the snake draft, and you got to pick last and then first. And so then it was like, when I came back to it, I thought there's only one other guy really left that is just like can't guard Mike, and it was Travis Kelce. And everybody was like, what the hell are you doing? He's a wide receiver, guys. And he's the number 1, and he's always the number 2. And most of the time in a lot of games, because he's so dominant in the middle of the field, he's the first option. And
he is. And
it's ridiculous.
Well, he's the only tight end in history.
And then nobody was smart enough to say, well, we can't let the guy get both. And so then I get Kittle in the 3rd. So I feel like
the flex.
Yeah, I feel like, because we got a double flex too. And then everybody is picking on me about my wide receivers. And it's like, once you have can't guard Mike and Kelce and Kittle at those 3 positions solidified, everything else can be pretty much gravy. And I think my running backs are young, but they're going to be high usage guys. Jonathan Taylor is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, and he proved he is Saquon Barkley fast and heavier, by the way. And DeAndre Swift, he can catch the ball. They're going to throw him the ball a lot in Detroit. They might not run him a lot, but he's a poor man's CHR.
Yeah, I like DeAndre. I took a handcuff on you on that. I took Marlon Mack for a reason late because as much as I like Jonathan Taylor, I know how many miles they put on him how much they handed that man the ball in college. And
I got an inside tip about him, bud.
And I just hope he stays healthy all year. Because he had a little bit of stinged up problems at where he was at when he was running the ball too in college. So, but when I went
those injuries though were kind of, I'm getting towards the end of my career, and I've seen what's happened to the other Wisconsin backs. So this hamstring injury or this knee pull, not as severe. He could have played.
What, you don't want to be Ron Dane? Yeah. No Ron Dane syndrome? You don't want to be awesome in college, get to the NFL and be...
His jersey's hanging right there. Don't be blasphemy. He won the Heisman
I
Trophy.
love Ron Dane, but he got used up so much in college by the time he got there, he had a couple years left in the NFL.
The Giants, who were piss poor and had no offensive line, and actually only used him. They treated him like he was Jerome Bettis and only could run the ball on the 1-yard line.
Correct.
Goal line. And he was he won the Heisman because he was a zone read runner. Like, he was a one cut and go guy, and they treat him like a power back, completely misused him. He was on a crap team, and they got rid of him. He was out of the league within 4 years.
Yeah, it wasn't long. So you talked a little bit about where I got to draft. I got to draft 10th. So I was forced, unfortunately, to make a selection I really didn't want to make with my first pick. But when I got there, it was Josh Jacobs staring me at the face at the 10th pick, and I can't not take him as much as I don't want to because he was a Raider. But Mike is not here tonight to listen to me talk about drafting a Raider first as my first pick. So that sucks for him. I immediately followed it up by remedying it by taking Tyreek Hill with the next pick on the wraparound on the snake. So I got my wide receivers and running backs. I have a lot of depth throughout there, and then I got Tyler Higbee as my tight end. So I'm confident in what he's going to do in LA this year with the Rams because they're going to throw the ball a lot. I like Cam Akers out there, but they're going to throw the ball a lot.
So do I take Hopkins, Hill, Kelsey, Goodwin, Kittle, Galladay, Moore, Robinson, Thielen?
Whoa. They're all still there?
Yes. Beckham, Ridley, Brown, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Who?
DeAndre Hopkins and Tyreek Hill are both sitting there.
Yes. Second round, 7th
What
pick.
running back is available?
It's Carson, Fournette, Johnson, Gurley, Bell, Gordon, Connor.
DeAndre Hopkins or Tyreek Hill. Probably. Is it a PPR league?
Yes.
DeAndre. I think you have to. I think he's going to get the most catches in Arizona this year. And Tyreek's going to split catches, as we just talked about with Travis Kelce, who's going to get another 1,000-yard season for his 5th consecutive season. And then you have they have everybody back, plus they just added Clyde. There is eventually not enough football for the weapons in Kansas City.
I swear to God, if I end up with Travis Kelce in the 3rd round, I'm going to slap somebody in this league.
Well, people are insane. Your running backs are going to be but who cares at that point when you have that receiving core in a PPR league? So,
I might have to get Mahomes in the 3rd round, though, too. That's tempting.
I have a geriatric ward at quarterback. I have Drew Brees and Tom Brady, so it's a little archaic out there in my quarterback room, but lots of experience. So
I did wait this year because of the way our the league we were in, the quarterbacks that were worth taking. So I waited until I basically was forced to take Aaron Rodgers or I was going to end up streaming, basically.
Yeah.
And so in the 10th round, I'll take Aaron Rodgers in the 10th round.
Yeah, I got Brees and Brady way later than I should have. So,
yeah.
But on that
so
note,
anyway, I did. Let's get to the bottom of this though. The other receivers, Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, Jamison Crowder, Hollywood Brown. Like I don't see the issue. Mecole Hardman. It's like, come on, guys. These are going to be high usage guys in the offenses they're in.
My receiving core is Tyreek Hill, Kenyon Galladay, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, and Debo when he comes off the PUP list. So I've got 4 or 5 number 1 wide receivers in my wide receiving core to pick from. So I'm going to have plenty of options at wide receiver. Your wide receivers, you've got a bunch of young guys that are looking for breakout years. I expect Mecole to do large things this year, so I really liked that pick for you.
I know you were upset that I took him.
Not really, because I really couldn't take him because I already had Tyreek, and I can't have too many of the Chiefs. Again, man, there's only one football, and there's a ton of them that are going to get touches. Like, that offense has I wrote an article about it several months ago, even before they finished all the Wizard stuff that he did throughout the rest of the offseason, but they returned everybody. Like, everybody. Even the guys that didn't make the roster last year that made the practice squad at wide receiver that are showing out in camp are the same guys from last year. It's Jody Fortson. It's Marcus Kemp. It's everybody is back. They are returning everyone except one guard, well, 2 guards now, one of which who eventually ended up not playing in any of the last couple of games because he lost his job. And then
Kelsey just got auto-picked in 3rd round.
And Damian Williams opted out. So you replaced Damian Williams with Clyde Edwards-Helaire is basically what happened on that team, on the offensive side of the ball.
I gotta go.
If there's a running back available.
Well, right now it's Carson, Fournette, David Johnson, Gurley, Bell, Gordon, Connor, Singletary, Swift, Hunt, Montgomery, Akers, Jones II.
I have James Conner on my roster. I think he's going to do things in Pittsburgh this year. I like James Conner. I have Kareem Hunt because I don't know how long Nick Chubb will hold up. I also have Ronnie Jones from Tampa. But I got some of those guys considerably later than I should have in most of your guys' drafts that you'll see. But let's get into some of the stuff we saw this week. Obviously, everybody is aware of the Jacob Blake incident. Again, I don't know why we keep having these issues. This is not something that should be difficult, but seems to be. So because it has been a struggle and people continue to do things that make no sense, Like, that there was no need for any of that. We have got to be better as a country. That is simple. There's no arguments. This is not political. This is human rights. Simple, over. No other things to be said. But because we can't seem to figure that out, the NBA and Major League Baseball and now the NHL and even some of the NFL teams have decided to remind people that sports are a privilege and not something that is necessarily a requirement. And I can't say enough about them using their platform to start making changes and doing the things that should have been done a long time ago. So all the people that are upset with everybody, with the sports teams and leagues stopping their games for this stuff, maybe you guys should start listening. If you start listening, they'll stop having to stop games, because then everybody will be on the same page. This is not rocket science, guys. Just listen. Andy Reid and all these other coaches and players and all these people across all these leagues, just listen to what they're saying. They're not saying this stuff for fun. This is not just ha-ha funny time. Let's listen to what these people are saying. There's a reason they're saying it. So with that said, I applaud all the leagues that have stopped the games. Now, with that said, this is a sports show, and I want to talk about the games that are already restarting and that are going to be restarting. So with that said, let's get into the NHL a little bit. You guys heard me talk last week. I thought the Colorado series, Colorado and Vegas, were going to be on a train wreck collision course for each other. Colorado had a couple unfortunate things happen at once. They lost one of their top defensemen and their top goalie on the same day. I said injuries would be the only thing that could derail them. I still like their chances to make this a full 7-game series and fight this all the way out. But Dallas has played really well. They've gotten a lot of work out of their top line. It's been a lot of fun to watch. I was not prepared for them to be that dominant as they have been on the offensive side. They're a very good defensive team. That's not a secret. But their offense had been less than stellar all year, and now they've pulled it out in the playoffs. So it's been fun to watch that series, because I still think that series goes the whole distance. I think that's going to be a back and forth. The other series out there, Vegas, I don't know how much Vancouver's got left.
Have you felt like there's any of these teams, though, that have been affected by some of the stuff that's been going on?
Well, I think you saw some teams that would normally have been deep playoff runs get out early. I think there was some of the stuff that the layoff, the bubble, the stuff, whether or not this was a real, like, Tuukka Rask. I mean, we talked about the Tuukka thing, and then we talked about his comments after the game about how he didn't feel like it was a Stanley Cup playoffs. Well, clearly he didn't feel that way, and then after that he had a family emergency, and then he ended up leaving the bubble. So, like, obviously teams have been affected by some of the stuff that's changed, but Boston has looked fairly good for it regardless of it. They've battled. It's a heck of a job by that team. To lose a guy that's one of the best goalies in the league, and in a scenario where he had to go home for his family, it's tough in general, especially after those comments, and I don't know where the teammates and him ever talked that out before that happened. And then, like I said, that's just an unfortunate circumstance of back-to-back where you make those comments that kind of maybe could set some teammates off, but then immediately after that you have a family emergency come up. So that's a tough thing to get through on both sides, I'm sure. I would not want to be in that locker room having to figure that out and battle that.
No, I can feel you there, man, and that can be some difficult things to have to deal with. And look, I don't think hockey players get enough credit, and I try to emphasize it as much as possible. Dude, your mind has to be so much quicker than in any other sport. I'm not kidding you. And
the game's played at 25 miles an hour.
Well, and people say, well, tennis, but tennis doesn't have the threat of violence against you if you're not paying attention, right? Like, you learn very quickly the first year of contact in youth hockey that if you ain't got your head up, you end up in a stretcher. Okay.
Yep.
It's like rule 1: keep your head up, because otherwise you end up getting
And if your teammate hospital passes you, he owes you dinner. That's the other rule. Like. You learn very quickly not to skate through the middle with your head down. You learn very quickly to stick handle without looking at the puck, and you learn very quickly not to pass your teammates into their own death. Similar to what quarterbacks used to be required not to do to receivers, to lead them across the middle into guys that could literally take their head off. the rules have changed a little, so they can't do that as much. But you don't want to be caught with your head down or unaware or not looking. And then also, what the other thing these guys don't get credit for is like when you'll find out when the teams are out of the playoffs just exactly what guys were playing through. Like the injury reports were already incredibly vague in the NHL before. They used upper body and lower body injury. Now they use undisclosed because we can't disclose anything for medical reasons. So now we just have basically completely eliminated the injury report. Is basically what they're doing right now with the COVID stuff. They've gone full radio silence on injury reports. So now dudes are out there playing like, I know for one, like for the Penguins, Malkin had surgery and Zach Aston Reese had surgery like immediately after the season on different body parts that they were basically just playing through. And you have guys all over the league, broken bones, broken this, guys wearing cages because their faces got destroyed by a stick or a skate. And they're playing, and they're out there blocking shots and laying down in front of stuff, and they're just doing it. Like, it is what it is. I think Nick Bonino a couple years ago played on a completely broken ankle for like 3 games. Joe Thornton played an entire postseason with no ACL. Like these guys don't.
What do you think about the choices between Ridley, Lockett, Cup, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Gordon, Connor, Singletary, Keenan Allen?
Did you say Ridley, Keenan Allen still available?
Yes.
Ooh.
I drafted Fournette's my number 1 running back right now.
What else is your running back options?
Johnson, Bell, Gordon, Connor, Singletary.
James Conner is still there?
Yes.
I think you kind of have to take a running back, don't you, with your receivers being who they are already?
Well, I took Fournette last round.
God, that's tough because there's some serious wide receivers still there, but people who are heavy on running backs, you may want to get another running back so you have 2 at least consistent ones.
So who do you like at running back?
Like I said, I like James Conner a lot. I also James Conner's my number 2 running back right now.
Ronald Jones is still here.
Ronald Jones is a good back, but I got him way later because people are sleeping on Ronald Jones and J.K. Dobbins. Those will be later available running backs.
Le'Veon Bell.
I don't know that Adam has that available. That Gase is going to use that correctly, but we'll see.
I'm going to draft Connor. Screw it.
But that Tampa Bay Boston series is an absolute war. Like I think those are the 2 best teams in the East, and I think their record showed that all year. But they're just going at it, and Tampa, that's a different team than they have been before. Man, they did what happened last year with Columbus appears to have helped them understand some things. So. I
love hockey playoffs because it gets so intense.
There's
my more favorite. Hitting than in the regular season.
Absolutely,
because
and it's
guys. I don't know. Yeah, it's just different. I guess hockey is one of those sports, Kyle. Can we agree, just for the listeners? I think the people that play it, even if I can't watch it that much anymore because I still will get I want to jump on the ice, right? It still will get me fired up. I skate with my kids. That's it. I haven't put on equipment in over 20 years almost, full equipment, besides skates. But if you've never played it, I don't think you can understand it the way we try to describe it.
I don't know.
You can't appreciate the difficulty athletically and mentally. I can't stress that enough.
That's
you
fair.
can run. Okay, Derrick Henry is considered a beast because they clocked him at 22 miles an hour. That's slow on skates. That's a defenseman, guys. Like I said,
the game is played at the pro level. At that level, it's played at 24, 25 miles an hour all the time. And the best athletes in the world will tell you they can't get on it. So there's a video. If anybody, I love Larry Fitzgerald, okay? He's a legend. He's one of the best wide receivers ever, right? Hands down. Hall of Famer. No question. There is a video of him trying to play hockey with the Coyotes. It's awesome. That is a world-class athlete that is nowhere close to capable of doing 80% of what guys do on skates and in these leagues all the time. And that dude's a world-class athlete. Yeah. In multiple other sports.
I can't. Yeah.
It's insane. Guys. It's a different level. And the playoffs, guys give it all up. To drink out of the cup, have your name on that cup, It's called the hardest trophy in sports to win. I've said it on here multiple times. It's that way for a reason. The playoffs are an absolute war the whole way through, and everybody gives everything to do that and be there for it. That's why these guys are in the bubble and doing this.
Stephon Diggs or Michael Gallup or Hollywood Brown, Deebo Samuel. Diggs is
going to have a year. So, real quick, I'm not going to touch on the MLB hardly at all, other than to say Jackie Robinson Day. That is a huge thing. I think it's awesome. I think it needs to be a bigger deal than it is. I don't typically, like we've talked about on here, pay a ton of attention to baseball because they just irritate me with all their crazy stuff, their unwritten rules, and their commissioner being who he is, and all the things that I don't know if anybody saw that today. If you didn't, go see what Rob Manfred said today, and then what the Mets said about their GM afterwards. That was a whole interesting thing. But Jackie Robinson Day, I know they were celebrating it. I believe it's today. Yes, I'm not crazy, right? That is today, Jay?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I have literally been I've done 3 different jobs today and then did this, and now I got the fantasy draft, and I'm still, it's the next 72 hours for everybody at the Brawl Network.
And I'm getting married during this whole thing, so that's going to be fun.
It's just craziness. And yes, Kyle, congratulations. You're getting freaking married. You are doing this show while you're dressed up, because immediately following when we get done with this, you got to go to your freaking rehearsal dinner. Back
to rehearsal dinner, so, yep. Real quick, I know we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time. I got a few minutes left here because I do have to get back. Real quick, I want to talk about Luka and Kristaps and the Mavericks I think they're going to push the Clippers to 7 games. I think that's going to be a full series. You looked at that any differently? Do you think the Lakers or the Clippers are going to just reel off what they need to finish it out?
No, but you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. I think everybody is misjudging the Clippers and the Lakers based on who they're facing in the first round. And this, we're gonna say this, and then we're gonna get out of here, because I know those eyes. What those eyes mean is that somebody is telling you, wrap the shit up. It's time to get back and socialize. I've been married long enough. I know what your look means. The look
it wasn't her, but yeah, that was the look I got from others involved. Yes.
Right, I gotcha. So we're gonna wrap it up with this take, and you can end the show, and then you can get the hell out of here, and I'll close out, because it is an important night for you. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Let's put it like this. I think the Clippers and the Mavericks matchup is a much more equal team, much more difficult than what the Lakers are facing in the Blazers. Dame Lillard is a superstar, bona fide stud. He's this generation's AI. I think we all agree when we make that comparison. But
he's definitely got the mindset.
He messed up his finger, and everybody else is crapping the bed on him, and it's and he's going against LeBron and them, and yes, they're having a great, but I wanted to make this point. It was in my notes for you from the last time we talked, right? Put it like this about LeBron James. You and Micah were tweeting at me about him and going off and, who's that? LeBron James always has difficult times with well-balanced teams that can make him work on both ends of the floor and give him fits. He struggles when he cannot go against opponents that are inferior and just dominate. Think of it. The Celtics, the Spurs, the Indiana Pacers,
the Celtics had
the Mavericks.
Okay, now some of that, yes, but some of that was also when he was in Cleveland playing with Anderson Varejao and Zydrunas Ilgauskas against that Celtics roster that had Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett,
blowing through all the other people. He was sweeping everybody else in the East until he would get to those teams.
Sure. And then you get to the conference finals and have to play 1-on-5, and then it's a little harder to do. And that was when he was younger. Now, was there some other times in some series where teams have given him some problems and different things? Sure. The other thing I think that's different this year is with the Lakers, at least, if everybody gets back healthy, which they're getting some guys back now, they're starting to replace some guys are starting to come back from things, but also with the Portland series, with them, Portland pushed them. I was hearing that was going to be the upset, and then all of a sudden, now there's no upset chance, and now it's basically over, and now the Clippers are still having to battle. So I think the NBA is interesting for that aspect. I also, like I said, I applaud them for leading the way on this, reminding everyone that we should still be trying to improve things and get better as a society. There's no way we should still be battling the same things they were battling 50 years ago. Bill Russell sat out a game, and now granted, it was an exhibition game, but him and those guys back 50 years ago, from the same day that they boycotted, had to do the same thing for the same kind of social rights thing. That can't be happening. It's been 50 years. We've got to get better. On the next note and the last note, please, guys, if you remotely want to help out, go vote for Kraft Hockeyville, Wichita. Go to krafthockeyville.com tomorrow. Starts tomorrow. It's unlimited voting. Do it as much as you want. Hit the button for us. We appreciate it, and I thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Jay, thank you for putting everything together, and I was glad to see everybody and talk to everybody. You guys have a good night.
Get the hell out of here. Enjoy the rest of your night. Congratulations. The next time we're going to speak to you, Kyle, you will be officially a married man. So it'll be an interesting if we see you ever again and what kind of a shell of a man we get back on the show.
I hope she lets me come back. She might not. I was gone for a while.
All right, get the hell out of here, Kyle. That's the show. Have a great weekend, folks. We are out of here. You can hit him up on the Twitter at KThen19. Micah, who is out calling football tonight, is at Micah_Wright NFL. I am at UPJ33. You can hit us up on the Twitter at Network Brawl and follow, like, and share the Facebook page by searching the Brawl Network. Also hit them up on IG by searching Network Brawl. And don't forget to give them some love on the website, thebrawlnetwork.com. Go there, sign up for free. It's your one-stop shop. The Brawl has it all, baby. And we will see you again on Monday. It will be USAID as usual. Have a good weekend. We love you all. Peace out.
Cause not just a game, it's more than a game, it's more than the hurt, it's more than the pain, it's more than the glory, it's more than the fame. This right here's about legacy, man, so it's bigger than me, it's bigger than us. We can lose sight in the midst of the fuss, let's slow it down and take it in. Enjoy this moment, what's the rush? They want it back, but we want it more. This is what we've been waiting for. With tears in our eyes, we let our hearts roar. Unleash war when we walk out this door, we won't be delayed, we won't be denied. In the end, we won't be refused with clear eyes, a full heart. There's no way that we can lose. Clear eyes.